All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Death Code. Death, death, death everywhere all the time. It's intense. So, thank you, obviously, for being here with me through this intense process that we are on this journey together. A couple things. We did the life review not yesterday, but the day before. And I recognize that for some of you, you may have had flashes or things come in. For some of you, nothing may have shown up, or it might have shown up that night during sleep time. Please feel free to listen to that transmission again, because the most important piece in that transmission is as something arises to have the feeling and the experience, but also then to drop in to the person you're having it with and to be in their perspective, because that's really where the healing comes, because sometimes we get so caught up in our story, right, that we forget, right? It's the old saying, walk in another's shoes. So as we step in and we see it through the eyes of their spirit, not through their persona, not through their personality matrix, nor yours, but the essence and their soul, what they are experiencing, it can have a rippling effect and a beautiful healing that can heal patterns. So a lot of times we have patterns, but we don't know where they originated from. We don't know where the seed point is. And often, if we're in a life review experience and something arises, it was something that's showing up for a reason, because either it had a beautiful positive impact, or it got stored on a cellular level in the body, and it created some type of blockage, and it's really showing it. And as the experience shows it to you, usually it's not always, but often it is an interaction with another human being. Sometimes it could be an accident, or some type of tragedy, or a sudden shock of some sort. But if it's an interaction with another, and you can go in and really feel into being in their being and seeing it through and feeling it through their eyes and perspective, it often will collapse the pattern that's caught on a cellular level, which, although you may not see a direct correlation between that and a pattern or an addiction or a behavior of some sort, it will start to resolve itself on its own. And you'll be like, oh, wow, I don't do that anymore, or I'm not having that disease anymore, or I'm not feeling that way. And you don't always have to know what the thread is that led back to it. So the review can be very potent in that way. And I know that because I'm channeling, and Raphael can talk really fast sometimes, right? We all know that. There may not be enough time of pause and quiet time for you to reflect during the transmission. So if you want to use the transmission to support you getting to the place of the light review. And then once you arrive there, you can turn the transmission off or turn it down if you're conscious enough to do so. So you're not listening necessarily to me anymore, but you're listening to your own inner internal wisdom, and the energy is arriving and the pictures will start to show. So that is definitely a transmission I would encourage you to refer back to over time, and to revisit. Today, something unusual has come up, and this showed up for me yesterday. Before I get into that, one more thing. I was holding, I have many lingams, Shiva lingams in my house. I have three. One is about this big. I think I showed you in the beginning of class. And then I have this one. And then I have one that's too big to move. I can't lift it. Nobody can lift it. It's so heavy. It's enormous. But anyway, this one, I was meditating with it, and I was feeling, when we go into Mount Kailash, and there's that shaft of light that's eternal that goes all the way up into the heavens and down. That's the Shiva Lingam, if that helps you. That's this energy. And what we're doing is we're energetically, whether we're aware of it or not, are being contained vibrationally in that frequency. And that frequency is the frequency of everything all at once, right? It's that stillness. Um, it's that presence, the presence that perhaps is that type of love that we feel when we transition out of the flesh. And so when we can connect to this and we begin to feel into this, that this is our essence or our soul. And you remember in the first class where Raphael kept saying, who am I? Right? Who am I? And I want you to continue to reflect on that through this death code. Who am I? And as you feel into that you are energy, you are love, you are frequency, and that you, in a sense, right now in this moment, are asking yourself to be contained. If you have one of these and you want to hold it, like I was just meditating with it and I wanted to bring it to my heart. And I wanted to bring it to my third eye. When I put my third eye to it, I went inside and there was a whole story happening inside, and I could experience everything inside, almost like I was inside the mountain of Kailash. Um, I also just, tenderly would kiss it as if I'm holding something energetically for myself. So just feel into this and know that as you place ash over it or water over it, what you're saying is, I see you, your divine self, and the ash is the representation of any tiny mini ego discs that you're having along the way in this process, or anything that you've let go of. And perhaps, sometimes some transmissions resonate with us more than others. But if there was like a aha moment, or I had that discussion with someone energetically, or I was able to let something go, as you sprinkle, right? And Debistry would say you sprinkle it like this, the ash on the top, just a little bit. When ash is the final destination, right? You can't disintegrate any more than that. That's the end game. So you've completely let go, and Shiva covers himself, right, in the ash. So just something to think about. Okay, most people are probably, how do we clean and add ash? And then just chant, the chant that Debishri shared with you. I could say it, but I have pronunciation issues and I don't want to completely botch it. I do it on my own silently to myself, and I'm okay with that. And when you'll be with Debishri on Friday, where she'll finish her presentation and we'll be answering questions. But just Om Namah Shivaya, just, chant over your water. And that is enough to bring that frequency that we're attuning to into the water. And then you can just wash the Shivalingam, the ash off. So you might be adding ash or washing ash, or you may just be using the water to cleanse, or you may not have one at all and you're not participating in that process and you're just doing it on a soul level energetically. And that's absolutely beautiful. I'm doing the processes here, and as I'm doing them, because we're all connected, I'm doing it for you. So don't feel like, oh my God, I have to do it, because I'm taking care of that. Um, okay, so today is a little different than what I expected. Um, and this was really interesting. And I was like, well, how does this relate? If you know me well and I'm talking to my team, or to Debistry or to Casey or whoever, the question I'm always asking is, how does this help the people? Like, okay, I get this is a theory, but how is it going to help the people? And that was my first question when I realized what Spirit was sharing with me to share with you today. But as I have shared on a personal level, like many of you, have lost a lot of people in my life. And of course, I think those people that I've lost are the most special, right? They're like extraordinary, angelic, special, amazing people. But they are. They're my crew, right? They're my tribe. They're my people. They're my people. And they help me in extraordinary ways. I remember when my sister was dying, who also channeled the angel Raphael, as she was getting weaker and weaker and weaker. And she was dying from pulmonary fibrosis, and she was losing her breath, and she was shriveling basically. As she was uh, exiting her body, I know this sounds strange, I was getting more energy. It was almost as if she was giving to me a part of her. She was sharing a part of her essence with me, which is so beautiful. And I carry her with me. And she came in yesterday pretty strongly, along with my brother-in-law. I don't know if my sister Jane is on the call today. My brother-in-law's name is Arno. He wrote a book. Um, I'm going to tell you the name of the book in a second. Something Cafe, Mosquito Grill, mos oh God, maybe she's here. She can type it in. Somebody remember it. I will get it. I'll remind you guys tomorrow. Anyway, if it's because of him that I can channel. Back in the late 80s, he's a chiropractor, and my sister at that time, now she lives in Colorado and Mexico. She lived near me, and I would go over to her home during on the weekends. I would drive from college with my husband, and we would get what's called clear outs, and he would do this energy work on our bodies, on my other sister who also passed, and me, and my other sister who also passed, and um, it opened me up to channeling. And if it weren't for him, I wouldn't channel. And if it weren't for my sister, who also passed, we channeled together. So they're an integral part of my journey and my experience and really my purpose. And so all of us have a purpose, right? Obviously, we know that, a reason for being here. And we have support from the other side. And what they were saying is, can we come in today? Will you let us come through your body? And can we share our story of how it felt before we died? What happened when we died? Where we went when we died? And why it's relevant to everyone here. And so I thought, oh, but is it relevant? You're my relatives. But they're like, no, it's relevant. So if you're okay with that, I'm going to bring them in. Now, when I channel Raphael, and I have to attune to another energy, my voice will probably, even though I'll be channeling my brother-in-law Arno and my other brother-in-law Russ and my sister, my voice will probably be fairly similar because I have to blend with their vibration, and then they use me as a conduit to express. And so, in sharing their experience, they were sharing it with me, and I had so many insights. I was like, wow, I thought their experiences would be very similar. And there were threads that were, right, things that were the same, but a lot of it was actually quite different. They had different experiences when they died. And I assumed that we were all going to have different experiences. And, what state of consciousness that we are in at the time of our transition appears, obviously, as we know this, to have a great impact on our journey. That our journey always eventually leads to this beautiful, blissful state. But the words on your mouth, the consciousness you're holding, the vibration you're in at the time of transition can be deeply supportive on your journey. And that's why all the great masters, they dedicate their life to death to the time of that journey, so they can pass through those gateways soaring with ease, right? And so we don't, of course, absolutely know how it works. And nobody does, and we won't until that day happens. But because the veil is so thin, because the portals are so open, because we're going through this enormous transition on the planet, we have more and more access than ever before to information, teachings, and understandings from the other side of the veil. So I'm going to bring them in today and channel them. And ask you to just stay open to the reflecting on their story and how it may weave into your story. Um, and begin to invite your own ancestors, your own loved ones who have passed, if you want to, uh, into the container as guides, right? We all have beautiful guides, and we all have our own guardian angels. I'm sure of that. Some of us in touch with it, see them, touch them, feel them, hear them. Some of us don't. No judgment whether we do or not, because we are all doing whatever we're doing in our own way. But they're right here, and they want to remind us that they're right here. Not only are they right here, that as we gave birth to our avatar self at the winter solstice, they are supporting us in fully embodying that. And as we can open the gateways to their vibrations, the assistance that we receive from streams of energy that come through them, whether it be an actual ancestor or a loved one who died, There's these different layers. I was talking yesterday to Dee about this, that we've got those, and then behind them maybe the archetype of something we've worked with in class, a god or a goddess, or let's say it's Lakshmi or Sekhmet or whoever, and their energy holds a container, a monad, a vibration of a certain frequency, and that frequency then carries out and moves through the Kala chakra, moves through the time portal, right? To these and other energies that we can attune to because we're closer to. So when you connect into someone on the other side who's done the work and they're holding a big piece and energy to support you, and behind them is the energy and where they've received their teaching, because you can connect to them because there's a DNA thread or an energetic thread or a heart connection. They become an anchor to these higher dimensional beings. And then those beings have an anchor to the next higher dimensional being. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So just like as Debishri was sharing with us, the power spots become an anchor, or symbols become an anchor, or beings that we work with, whether it be a god or a goddess of some site, like Isis or Buddha or whoever, right? They hold a specific frequency, and if that frequency is supporting us on our life journey, on our purpose, then they'll start to come into our awareness, into our experience. And if we have an energetic connection to someone on the other side of the veil, or that that is also carrying that frequency, they become like a bridge to these higher dimensional energies. And so as we release our grief and the heartache of what we're missing, or what where the loss is, and we begin to reframe it as what we are receiving, what the gain is, by the fact that they've transitioned and are doing what they're doing, that is a great support for us as we complete the rest of our journey until we reunite with them. And it's sort of like this infinite loop of energy moving. Okay, so let me channel them, and we'll see what comes in. I feel like it's going to be very supportive for all of you. Of course, that's always my intention. All right. And then just a reminder, tomorrow, you have a beautiful 9 a.m. class, same link, same time with Casey, to work on letting go, right? He has beautiful teaching. So please join us for that. And then Friday, Debishri. And then I'll be here next week for those 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday's the final activation. Thursday is the final integration with Casey. And then the death code will have come to completion, and will be an integration time. If you're in the membership, we'll have special things happening with Heather Ensworth and as a guest speaker, etc., before we get into the resurrection code. Okay. Oh, 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 hello, hello, hello. As always, we are very delighted to be here and to attune to all of you in this way. Many energies are here and present today as we recognize your honoring attunement and connection to those who have passed. And this did not pass by them, for they were aware of this honoring. They felt this energy, this love, this connection, this frequency. And as their names were scrolling and rising and moving on your technology and on your screen, they were all gathering and coming together as one energy, as one family, as one unit. And it is that this one is connecting to those who have passed on the other side, in which they are wanting to come in and to speak and to share with you. And in doing so, we will do our best from this vantage point to be a conduit for this energy and transmission. In doing so, know that there are three energies that will be passing through your heart center, where you will be receiving the vibrations of healing. You will be receiving the vibration of magic, and you will be receiving the vibration of creation and abundance. These three energies are holding the signature, the blueprint of this vibration. It was held by them in the physical, in their own body, and it is now held by them at a much higher level, on many levels, in another space and time. And a portal that is open for you in this now moment allows the receptivity of this energy. All of those in which you love and care for are connected to these beings. And you may ask, how can this be? For why would my relatives or those that I have loved, or even pets that have passed, or unborn children or miscarriages be connected to Kelly's ancestors? And they are connected because there are pods, we might want to call them groups, energetic conglomerates, in a sense of energy fields, of soul families. And this is a family that is united as one energy, although, of course, individualizing yourself in this most separate way. You are deeply and profoundly connected through a tapestry of light. And in doing so, all of the names and the beings that were read are connected to my field as Archangel Raphael, which is connected to this vessel as I pass my energy through her. And that energy is connected to her ancestors. And so, because of this, you are all connected and there is no separation. For as you reunite with these beings in which are no longer in form, the first acknowledgement, the first remembering, the first knowing that you will feel in your being is a sense of oneness. And in that oneness, there will be a knowing that the separation in itself was always an illusion, part of the space and time frequency that was adapted to the linear vibration on Earth itself. And so they assist Kelly and they assist me. And so they are family to you and are assisting you as well. You are consciously aware of the enormous shifts occurring on your planet, something you have heard from your perspective for a very long time, perhaps even tired of hearing about it, wondering when it will come to completion and you will move into the unified field. You are in deep process of that in this now moment, in the presence of where you are. It is not some future event in which you are looking to, but it is occurring right through you in this very moment. These energies are here to assist in this way. And as you hear and feel into the vibration of their journeys and their stories, you will recognize that depending on the frequency, the ray of energy, the light that they hold, they are within the same container of many of those which you have lost, in which they are working in a setting together as a union, as a field of energy and light. The opening of this door, this corridor, this teaching, this remembering, and this understanding allows the energy to flow as if it is moving on a conveyor belt, and the vibration of this light is coming through these portals of energy, moving into and through your heart, as the energy spills through your heart and into the physicality of your flesh, expanding the consciousness and opening space on an energetic level all around where you are. We will begin with the most recent death that is connected here energetically. And this vibration is the one in which the hands of this energy are very large. These are healing hands that he has. And these healing hands placed their hands many, many years ago, 30 to 40 years ago. Those hands in time touched the back of Kelly. And as the hands touched the back of her spine and lightly touched at a specific place, an energy moved through his ancestors, through the great healers from above, through his body, an energy moving down through the crown as a conduit of healing, and the energy passed through those hands and into her and into her body as an agreement to open the vessel for these transmissions to come through, to be shared at a time in which the earth would move through great transition in order to support the opening of the hearts and the awakening of the light body of many. And so he comes today to speak and to talk to you, to share with you his story. But before he does that, there is a reminder that we have attuned you to the mountain of Kalesh for a reason, for it is the most pristine and pure anchor of light and portaled vibration to date on your planet, amplifying the highest frequency of unity, consciousness, the stillness, and the place of oneness. It is where time stops and energy collapses into a new realm and way of being. And it is that just like this one who had touched with his hands at the time of life onto the spine of Kelly, opening the energy and the kundalini as it rises through the pranic tube. It is that as she spoke of her nephew, it is that he had to touch the mountain with his DNA. He had to walk around the Kora. He had to bring his foot to the Himalayas. He had to look up at the mountain Kailash, not knowing that the linkage, that the lineage, that the tapestry of energy, the thread that moved through his DNA moved through Kelly's, in which operated and opened the vibration of Kailash for her to speak of such place, even though she has not traveled nor brought her energetic flesh nor DNA directly to this space. In addition to that, many of you here in this audience have traveled to the Himalayas and have connected with that vibration, whether touching the snow and walking the Kora itself of Kailash. You have entered into the space of this vibration that radiates out through all of the Himalayas and into Nepal and Kathmandu and around and through the mountain of Everest. And it is of no coincidence that Casey, carrying her DNA, had walked the mountain of Mount Everest to its peak, as well as Devashri, for it is that them doing this has opened an energy field, allowing for us to gain entrance as a collective soul family into the purity and the state of this vibration. So recognize that when you travel and connect to power places, you may not know in the moment in which you are doing it the impact that something simple in a moment of travel may have through the ancestral lineage of others, as a heart opening occurs to the power spot that becomes a conduit to the ancestors. And it is that the beloved Pam Gregory has also at a young age walked these mountains for several months with the Sherpa in the silence and the stillness of the snow. And in doing that, many of you are connected to her within your soul family, as she is a guide amongst you along the ascension timeline. And so know that every act that you have, large and small, not only connects and awakens and interacts with you, but it creates a tapestry of energy interconnected to everyone in which you touch and see and connect to. And you vibrate within monads of pods of energies, of soul families working together, some at night in the stars as star beings and energies of light, passing through great memories of lifetimes, continuous one after another, recognizing one another as you connect in this way. Today, we will begin with the energy and the name of Arno. Arno, he is French. He came to this planet to become and to be a healer. And he came to this planet to share a vibration of love and union, teachings, service, and understanding. His energy will not begin from the day of his birth, nor the story of his life, although that in itself was profound, as thousands have gathered to honor him at the time of his death. And it is the work of his hands, and his energy was a conduit connected to a vibration that was an ancestor before him that opened the portal to allow the vessel to be clear enough for my vibration as Archangel Raphael to pass through this being. As you feel into his energy, he has come today to heal you. If you are open to the receiving of this healing, he comes from a lineage of great masters and teachers. Take for a moment a nice deep breath and feel into a willingness to receive a healing, a willingness to open up the energy of your spine, to release the subluxation for the life force energy to flow, to feel the energy moving through your body and nourishing all of your cells and organs and tissues, for this was who he was. His hands radiated with warmth and heat, his eyes gentle and sweet, his humor always at the tip of his tongue, the sweetness in his essence, a tenderness and fragility of his soul. His life often riddled with physical pain, contrary to the wounded energy within his own being as he healed others. A knowing came over him, a feeling, it's time for me to go. The soul knew ahead of time. He arrives now. It was time for me to go. I know my voice does not sound like mine, but I am no longer in the flesh. I knew it was time for me to go, but I did not know how I would. My body was failing. I became frail. The pain overwhelming. My greatest concern, my wife. How would she open the jar without me? How would she put the key in the door when it got stuck? How would she find the papers? How would she know where to go or what to do or who to talk to as she fell off to sleep? I thought to myself, I must get everything ready. This was my nature. I must put everything in order. I must find a way. Putting back in the recess of my being that my death was coming soon, I pretended I went into an unconscious state, and yet I had enough awareness to prepare. I sold our large home. I packed everything meticulously. I wiped it down in every corner. I got everything in order. I moved our life and scaled it down to another dwelling. I got every password written down, everything that I could think of, from the Netflix password to that of the idea in the address book of who needed to be contacted for who and what. I put it all in place. I bought a house for her in Mexico, a place I knew where people would come and take care of her, where she would not be alone, where she could be by the sea and walk in the sand and swim in the water, in the buoyancy, the place where she felt at home. I arranged all of these things. She worried breathlessly, concerned things might not pan out. I told her to rest. You see, I knew. I knew the design. I knew the plan. I knew what I had to do and get done. It felt endless, my list, and yet I worked diligently and hard, preparing everything for my exit. I got everything in order. And then the pain, it arrived stronger, deeper, more intense than it ever had before. I knew it was time. I could feel it. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to be in a diaper. I didn't want her to have to take care of me. My children, I thought of them worrying, coming, and I said, I will leave now. I left, willingly, consciously. I had to. It seemed incongruent to my philosophy, to the unfolding of what life should be, allowing the body to do what it may. But I knew my path, it was clear. The moon was full. The day had arrived. It was the 21st. It was my time. I said I would come back as 1111 so that they would know me. Unusual for me to speak in code or of numbers, although deeply spiritual, some of the woo-woo was too much for me. I was a healer, and that's all I knew. My life was dedicated to service. I connected to the dogs and the animals. Sometimes this gave me great peace. It was time. I was heavily sedated. I was leaving my body. I began to lift, to slip out, watching my wife at my bedside, feeling the frequency of my son nearby, knowing it was complete. I had said my goodbyes. I had come to peace with it. I had made my decision. I had chosen to die. I left. And there I was. The pain was gone. The heaviness had left. The peace came over me. I was free. I thought I would be met by something beautiful, something magnificent, an overwhelming power, God force, life force, energy, love. I was met by my father. I was surprised by this. His persona was gone. His personality had disappeared. His essence was there. I felt small, like a young boy. A healing happened. I can't explain how it happened, but it did. And as quickly as he appeared, he turned away from me. He started walking. We walked into a cave. It was very dark. I had no thought of where I was or what was happening, or even that I had died. I simply followed him through this cave. We came to a new entrance. It opened up into a big space. He disappeared. I wondered, where did he go? Where am I? And in front of me, to my surprise, deeply unexpected, was a motorcycle. I thought, a motorcycle. I know this. I know how to ride. This is where I feel free. Although I was not in a body, I felt as if I was. I felt as if I had arms and legs, but I felt painless, in a state of bliss. I got upon it and I rode in the wind. And I rode and I rode and I rode and I rode until I saw all of these beings in a line in front of me. I stopped, I got off, I recognized them. These were tribal beings. These were men. They were in the garb of American Indians. They were native and indigenous to the land of the West. I knew them. They were my tribe. I remembered them. They welcomed me, and I entered into a hall. I sat in the hall in a circle. A peace pipe was being passed around. I felt as if I had never left, almost like I had been in a dream. I had fallen asleep during a ceremony with the elders, and I woke up and I was home again. The dream had been my life on earth. Was it real? Did that happen? What is going on? I felt a bit disoriented, but I knew I was safe and I was home. I was familiar with this place. I looked down on my body and I could see what I was wearing. There was someone sick. They called to me. They called out. My name was different, but I knew it. I rose. They said somebody needed my help. And as if I had done this 1,000 times before, I went to their bed. I placed my hand upon them. I did my work. I provided herbs. I shook my rattle. I danced around them. I knew what to do. They healed. And as they healed, a door opened, and I found myself somewhere completely different. I was in a surgery room. I was looking down at surgeons. They were in their scrubs. I was watching them from above. I couldn't imagine why I was brought to this place. This is not me. I am not this. I thought, why am I here? I saw them saving lives, one after another, tirelessly dedicating, removing tumors, healing things, sewing others up, dealing with pain, working hard. And I realized I had judged them. I had judged their community. I had judged the doctors in my life. I had judged them. I had talked poorly about them. But they were not all bad. They were working hard. They were healers too. And then their faces became familiar. I knew them. They were my brothers. They were healers in a different way. I fell to my knees. I asked for forgiveness. This might have been what you call a life review. It was a moment of recognition for me. And as I fell to my knees and I let go of this judgment, they disappeared as if it faded into the nothingness. And standing before me was a little girl. She was small. about 3 years old. She had black hair. She was Asian. She was my daughter. I had adopted her in my recent life. Her soul before me, my heart aching, the pain so heavy, asking myself, why, why did you desert me? Why were you not at my deathbed? And then I understood. Tears rolled down my cheek. My part, my part in the unfolding became clear. Her role that she played for all of us, so difficult. The agreement that we had, understood. The healing, the growth, the change that came from her. She was the most ascended one, the most courageous. I had judged her frequency, I thought, lower than mine. But no, a master, disguised in an energy that was volatile, difficult for me, playing a hardest part of all, so that I could find forgiveness, so that I could rise above. I thanked her. I forgave myself. I forgave her. I fell again to my knees. It all was becoming clearer. Energy was shifting. The room disappeared again. My mother in front of me young, caring for her, feeling as if she was my mate. We began to walk through the streets of Paris. Everything was glistening, her hand large and mine tiny in it, and yet feeling somehow I was in charge. I connected, we talked. Energy passed through, memories flooded me. Healing happened. No need to detail this. And then it disappeared, as if I was moving through times and spaces. And as I walked the streets of Paris, a cafe in front of me, I want to go in, a chocolate croissant, a cappuccino seemed good in this moment. Wondering, can I taste it? Can I smell it? And as I enter the cafe, a man sitting there in a chair. I recognize him. I had seen him in books. I knew his essence. I knew he was valuable, so important to me. I sat down. He said to me, "Hello, Arno. I am Dr. Palmer. I am the founder of chiropractic." In that moment, I knew, hey, his energy, it had influenced me. He said that his energy moved through his hands and his heart to me in my last incarnation. They worked through me. I channeled his vibration. I knew his teachings. I shared his words. I taught this frequency. I opened the spine. I healed the sick. I cleared the emotional pain. Many changed. I knew my purpose. It was clear. He said, "Yes, but now you are here. You are no longer in the flesh, but you are the frequency of a healer. You come now, and I will teach you something new, for what I had taught was outdated. Things on the planet you came from will be changing, and the healing will change." And it's just as he said this, everything disappeared, and I was in a forest. It felt as if I was in Japan. It was a Zen-like quality. A master who was bald, wearing an orange robe. who looked like he knew martial arts, stood before me, fully in his body, in his power, a screen behind him, a setting of a Zen-like quality, manicured the forest in its way, simple in its design, a floating of beautiful women passing by in robes of colors and gowns, almost like an etheric Japanese place, a garden. He said, "Welcome. This is where you will spend your time now." I knew there was no time. I couldn't understand how much time had passed, but I was aware I was somewhere where I was meant to be. I entered and the faces appeared, the ones I had known. I thought I would see my relatives and all of those that I loved, but not yet. It wasn't time. I was in school in a way. We were learning how to use energy and the chi in the body, come into harmony and balance. They were bringing in new understandings, and I was there as a student, equipped with the energy moving through my hands. I have been here for a period of time now. In your linear time, it has not been more than a year and a half or so that I have passed, that I have left my body. But in that short time on earth, I have gained great insight, enormous time of contemplation, and skills beyond knowing. For my healing capacity outweighs any healing ever performed in my body on earth. And I carry these healing codes now. You can call upon me. You can call out to me as Arno. I carry the pyramids that Kelly speaks of in my hands. She talks of the avatar body that you have become, and I am here to assist you with the healing. You can come to me. You can read about me in my book to feel my frequency. You can know me. It is called the Cafe of Life, after all. The cafe I entered in Paris where Palmer was awaiting me. He showed me my life, but I have a new life now. And I know to my beloved, I am awaiting her arrival. It will be a span of time on earth before she leaves her vessel, for she too has things to do, healing to take place, love to share, understanding to move through her body. But I am present. I come to you to share my death, my process, so you can know there is nothing to fear. It is similar to being on earth, except it is filled with a love that I did not share in my talk with you, a love that has no words, a feeling of deep, profound bliss, a sense of comfort and all-knowing. No words can describe the peace and the love that is here, and the outpouring of the energy supporting me in my teaching. So you can visit me here in this temple, in this Japanese garden, and come to me, and I will place my hand on you. Just as I placed my hands on Kelly, and her body began to swirl and move and contort, sounds came from her as she surrendered to the divine, opening her heart and soul to her purpose as the energy flowed from the other side through my hands to her. I am now that one on the other side. So I may not touch you directly, but you may feel me as I flow through another healer. You may feel me as you invite me into your room at night as I may touch you at the base of your spine as you lay flat facing down, palpating and opening the energy as it moves, feeling your head in my hands, allowing it to fall as I turn it side to side, placing my hand in the center of your chest as you open your heart to surrender to the divine. I send to you my healing energy. Take a moment now and fall down. Feel into where I am. I lay a simple mat on the floor. It is different here, and you can lay flat. You don't have to worry about breathing with your head there, for there is no matter. The space is empty. It is simply for your comfort, the pictures we describe. Lying flat on this table. Feel into that now as I come to you. Feel the warmth in my large hands, the sweetness in my heart as I place my hands on your back at the base of your spine. If you are willing, you can allow the energy to rise. You know this as a serpent coiled at the base. You might have a feeling or a need to move or to make a sound. Feel free to do all of this. As I touch you here, my hands move up your spine further. I place the two of them together. I push down on the center. You hear a sound. Something opens. A block that was there, released, releasing the blockages stored in your body. These blockages are stored not just from your posture, your sitting, the toxins in your air, but mostly from your emotions, your memories, the jarring frequency of a change or something upsetting, blocking off the life force, contorting it like a hose that has been pinched. I'm opening that hose now. Feel the energy flowing through your spine. Feel the golden energy moving and rising up through your crown. Feel me standing behind you, placing my large hands under your head, palpating it, moving it left to right, feeling into it. Drop your head further into my hands. Let it move. Let me unblock it. Let me unlock what is locked and contracted. You feel a pulsation, an opening, a release. Releasing. You are releasing the energy. It is flowing. Feel my hand now. Turn over. Lay on your back. Feel my hand in between your breastbone. My finger touching and tapping here. Your shoulders moving back, your hands in surrender. Open, release, let go. Open, release, let go. And now I will start to move the energy. All you have to do now is lie there. It is like I am unraveling something that got a bit tangled. Let me unravel it for you and put it back in order. As I unravel it, your body might want to move. You might feel a shift in your energy. As it is unraveling, you can choose to keep it contracted and tangled, or you can say yes to this now and release. These are patterns in the body, repetitive ones that you can let go of now. This is a new paradigm, a new frequency, a new way of healing. It is unraveling. Your body is moving. Tears may be flowing. Release is happening. You are eternal. I come for this healing so that the remainder of your life on earth, that you can feel free, free of pain, free of contraction, free of stored memory, free of old patterns. You are released. You may say out loud, I release, I release, I let go, I let go. As I continue to untangle, as if I am moving threads around, gathering them from many dimensions, weaving in energies from other lifetimes, and unraveling patterns of this one and ones before, moving in the vibrations of the future lifetimes and creating a symmetry of harmonized vibration and patterning. In this, an organization takes place within your field, and the organization creates clarity, and the clarity reveals purpose. This is my work, to reveal purpose, to untangle that which is discordant, to harmonize your field, and to heal. I remain here for time. At times I go and socialize with those that I love who have passed, with healers, with my circle and ceremony and the natives, and places in which are familiar. But for now, my main place that I reside is here in this temple, this Zen-like place, becoming a master. Come visit me at any time, for I am here to help you. And know that today you receive something that may have seemed to have come from me, but has come from something so much greater than myself. For I am only the vessel of the Source God itself. I am Arno. There are two more strong energies that would like to speak, but we are out of time. You may sit with the frequency of this healing energy from Arno. Allow its vibration to continue to move through your body, carrying it with you. You can access it by entering into the mountain of Kailash, entering in to the Kala chakra, opening up the space where time collapses, and that ray of energy, like a beam of light, appears in front of you, and it will carry you in its frequency to that Zen-like master temple, where at any time you can go and receive clearing, healing, openings, releasing, and awakening. And with that, you may take a nice deep breath. You may feel the presence of large, powerful, healing hands on your body. Can connect with this energy. This is a gift for you to access whenever you need it. And slowly take in a very nice, long, deep breath all the way in. And a nice, long exhale. You would like to just stay in this peaceful state, you can do so. Thank you for joining today for today's transmission. We'll continue to hear from others next week and attune to our legacy. All right, everyone. I love you all very much. Thank you for being here. I can see that people are really feeling that. I don't know if my sister Jane was on the call today. I hope so. So many people I can't see. But if she is, I'm sending her lots of love. Mm. Arno's book is called The Cafe of Life by Arno Brenier. He was a famous chiropractor. I worked for him for many years. When he would open his doors, hundreds of people would be waiting to see him. He's very powerful, incredible healer. You can read about his life in his book. And Debashri was the artist for his cover of his book. So how perfect is that? All right. Have a beautiful day. Much love. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you on Friday. Take care. Bye.